Hi, this is Sandy. We're going to be drawing the little town of Bethlehem, and you might want to make this into a Christmas card. So draw this on cardstock and put the picture on the front, and then open it up, fold it up, and write Merry Christmas on the inside. Or you can make this into a picture. Write "O Little Town of Bethlehem" on it, give it to somebody, Grandma and Grandpa, or use it as a Christmas decoration, just as it is as the picture. Drawing the little town of Bethlehem is actually really simple. We're going to start with a square, put a half circle on top of it. These are going to be houses, these are going to be buildings. This is a little box. This also could be a square. And here's going to be a tree. You'll see that in a second. So we're just going to make that a circle. And let's add one more piece here. This is going to be a half circle and another little house there. Now, Jesus was probably born more in a cave than in a stable. That's where they kept the animals. So our cave is going to be over here on the right, and we'll finish that in a second. It's almost kind of a triangular shape there, and we'll do that in a second. So let's start turning our squares and circles into the little town of Bethlehem. Let's make this one house here on the left into a house with shutters. That's a window with shutters. Houses back then often had little domes on the top. So when I draw a little village in biblical times, I often draw a little dome. Now this little box turns into a house, and right next to it a tree. Tree is just a circle with a trunk. See how easy that is? A little wall, and this wall has an archway that leads into what I'm thinking is maybe a garden or something. So draw a couple of gates. If that's hard for you, then just concentrate on the little square houses and the little domed houses. Those are most important. Speaking of domed houses, let's draw one more kind of in the background. By drawing a few in the background, it gives kind of the look that the village kind of goes on in the back there. We'll add a palm tree here. That gives us kind of that Middle Eastern look. Another little building or two in the back. That gives us kind of a three-dimensional look to our village. And here's a little fence. We're going to color that in a second. And behind that fence, why don't we draw another palm tree just to kind of give that Bethlehem look. Now over on the right, this is our cave, or where our manger is going to be. There's Mary. And there's the little manger, which was actually just a feeding trough. That's where they put the hay and the feed for animals when they fed them back there in those days. And that's where they laid the baby Jesus the night he was born. And as I mentioned, it was probably a cave rather than like a barn. Here's some of the Palestinian hills where the shepherds hung out. If you want, you can add some sheep and shepherds there. And of course the star that the wise men followed in order to find the baby Jesus. Now on my picture, I have to kind of frame the sky, because when I color it later on, if I don't do that, the whole card will turn blue. So I'm going to add some stars to fill in our sky here, some smaller stars. And speaking of color, look at that. We got a blue sky there, very dark blue because it's nighttime. We'll add some yellow, some light where Mary and Joseph are. Now let's color the buildings. Chances are most of them were tan or gray. They were made out of mud or sandstone, so they would usually be tan or gray, although I'm going to add a few other colors just to kind of liven up our picture a little bit. We'll make a dark wood fence here leading into the garden and over by that other one there too. And let's add some green on the trees, the palm trees, and on our little round tree there in the center. We'll do a different color green on that bush, and we're going to be coloring the mountains in a second. Kind of finishing up with our little village. I'm adding some purple here just to break it up a little bit. But you can use crayons, watercolor, colored pencils, anything you want to color your little town here. There's our mountains. That looks a little bit better. Now we're going to work on Mary and Joseph here inside the stable. Add a little Merry Christmas, and suddenly you've got a really nice Christmas card you might give to somebody. It's very simple. I did it kind of quick, but just watch this again and you'll see that all of those shapes, the squares, the half circles, and the circles, come together pretty quick to make the little town of Bethlehem.